Hey guys, it's Sammy. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing my favorite books of the year. I know this is a little late. I was really nervous that I was going to read my favorite book in like the last week of the month. Didn't happen, but I was nervous about it because I was reading a really great book, but I didn't even end up finishing it by the end of the year. So you might see it in next year's favorite books of the year, but anyway, that's the reason why this is going up a little late. But I'm so excited to share with you all my favorite books this year. I read so many good books this year, and even though I did only end up reading like 27 books in 2017, there were so many good ones. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 8 of my favorite books plus 2 honorable mentions to make it my 10 favorite books of the year. This was a great reading year for me, and I hope that you are surprised by some of the books in this list. I was surprised by how I ranked them because we are going to be ranking them, because what's the fun if I can't like give them a ranking and like everyone's anticipating what's my favorite book of the year. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with number 10, this is going to be an honorable mention, mainly because it did get only 4.5 stars from me, but that is going to be I've Got Your Number by Sophie Kinsella. If you do not know what this book is about, it is a super cute adult romance about this woman who loses her engagement ring and goes on a crazy chase to find it and ends up with this random person's phone, and she's been contacting this guy through the phone to try to get back the ring, and it is so adorable. I only gave it 4.5 stars because at the end it was a little crazy, but I loved this book so much. I loved all the twists and turns. I love Sophie Kinsella's writing. I did listen to this on audiobook, as why I don't have the book to show you guys. I don't have much other to say that it was just really cute. There's not anything like of substance really. There wasn't anything like, there wasn't kind of representation. There wasn't really anything of quality per se, but I enjoyed it nonetheless, and I couldn't like not include on this list because I really did enjoy it that much. So yeah. Number 10. Coming in at number 9 on the list, we have The Girls by Emma Cline. This was another audiobook I listened to this year. I also gave it 4.5 stars. And this book, contrary to the last book I talked about, was not fluff. It was actually very intense. It was gripping and suspenseful and downright terrifying at moments, but I loved it nonetheless. If you do not know what The Girls is about, it is about basically the Charles Manson murders retold, but this book was absolutely crazy. I really liked the narrative. It follows this girl who was a completely normal girl. She ends up falling into the girls, who are these girls that were in this cult, and she ends up falling in with them, and it follows her perspective then when she was in the cult, and then in the future now that she is an adult. And I just find it really interesting. It was very dark though, so I loved it, but very dark, definitely not for everyone. You've been warned. Okay, now we're into the official favorite books of the year, top 8, and your guys are going to be so surprised when I tell you who number 8 is, because I bet a lot of you were expecting it to be a lot higher. And while I do still love this book, I couldn't place it any higher with all the other books I read this year, and just looking back on it, I was more disappointed the farther removed I became from it. And I still love it for its purpose, but it wasn't my favorite book. So it's coming at number 8, and that book is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I know, guys. I know. I am such a fraud. I raved about this book, and I do love this book. Obviously, it's one of my favorite books of the year. It's coming in at number 8 though, so that means there is a good 7 books ahead of it. And it just came down to the fact that while I did love this book, I loved this book more for the characters in this book versus what was the actual content of this book. If that makes any sense, like I enjoyed being with these characters, but as the book as a whole was not my favorite. So I couldn't rank it above some other books that I really found engaging and really great plot-wise and stuff like that. But I still love this book, but I couldn't rate it higher, so I hope that makes sense. If it didn't, I'm really sorry. I love this book. Obviously, it is the 3rd book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. The 2nd book, A Court of Mist and Fury, was my favorite book last year. I loved it, I did, but it wasn't as good as its predecessors, and it wasn't as good as some of the other books I read this year. So yeah, I'm kind of sad about this too, guys. I really am, but what you gonna do? So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. I will link up my reviews to any of the books I talk about, but it'll be linked up above. It's always on this side, isn't it? It'll be linked up above for you guys, so check it out if you do care to. I raved about it. I love it still, but not as good as some other books I read this year. Alright, let's get on with it. Coming in at number 7, we have Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I loved this book. I listened to it on audiobook and I adored every bit of it. It was such a fast read for me. It was so much fun. If you don't know what this is about, it's about Simon, who is a closeted gay teen, and he's trying to find his way in life while he's having an online connection with this mysterious Blue. And it's kind of the story of Simon coming out to all of his family and friends, but also the story of Blue and who is Blue. He goes to the high school, like, who is he? And it was so adorable. I loved it with every inch of my soul. I'm so excited to see the movie, which I think it's obviously coming out this year now because this is 2018, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And you guys, if you have not read this book, I know everyone hypes it up, everyone loves it, but seriously, if you have not read it, get on it. Seriously, get on it. Okay, now we got that out of the way. On to the next one. Okay, now for number 7. This is another book you might be wondering why it isn't higher on the list, and like I said, still love this book. Obviously, all my favorite books of the year, and that is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This book gave me all the feels in the beginning of the year, and maybe it's lower on this list because I read it longer ago and the feels have faded. Not disappeared, but faded. If I read this again, I'm sure I'd feel all the feels again. But if you don't know what this is about, this is a 1001 Nights retelling. I'm pretty sure I said that right. And it follows this girl who is a peasant in the city, and she gets selected to be a bride of this king who apparently murders all of his brides at the night they come there. Yeah. And she goes to the castle, and she wakes up the next morning and she's still alive, and she's like, well, shit, what does this mean? And also she's planning to kill him because he killed her cousin. Her sister? Her cousin. Wow, look at me, so educated on my favorite books. Anyway, basically the reason why this is so high is because the romance in this was, oh my god, so freaking good. So angsty. I loved it with every inch of my soul. Every inch of my soul, I love this book. But, like I said, so many more great books I read this year. So many hard-hitting books that I've yet to get to. I love this because it was so much fun. It was a great read. I loved it. It was diverse. It was great. I liked every single bit of it. But, like I said, so many great books this year. Yeah. But basically that's it. Like I said, the romance in this, the love interest in this, literally kill me. I loved him. If you want to learn more about the love interests, he was included in my favorite book boyfriends of last year. So check that out. Yeah, do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I love this book. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. Okay. On to the next one. And we are into the top 5, my friends. And this is another book. Once again, you guys were probably expecting to be higher, but it's fine. I love this book, and you guys know I love this book. And that is Gemina by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. I read this book. I think this is the first book I finished this year. Oh my god. I love this book. I loved this book. If you don't know, last year Illuminae was my second favorite book of the year. I'm pretty sure. Link up my last year favorite books up above. That was not coherent. I loved this series. I love this series still. I'm so excited for the next book. If you don't know, this is a sequel to Illuminae. It's about space adventure, and it's written in chat logs and pictures and wonderful things that I love, and I love to read it. I love this format. Seriously, if you are holding out on this because you are nervous of the format, seriously, please stop. Read the first book. You will be shocked, okay? You will literally be shook at how good this book is and how good it is, even though it is not told in the traditional format. I love these books. I even like this one more than Illuminae, which is crazy because, well, I don't know. I have a still ongoing debate about this, but like I said, this is number 5. There's so many good books I read this year. We haven't even got to the greatest ones yet. Okay, yeah. I love this book. You need to check it out. I don't know what else to say. The love in this, once again, the love interest, like, boy, like, all the feels, it's fine. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I'm so bad at these videos, guys. I'm so sorry. I really just don't even know what to say. I love these books, but I can't even begin to profess why I love them or how much I love them. It's just like, I love them. Like, I read them and I'm like, well, shit, I love this. So yeah, does that make any sense? Okay, on to the next book. Okay, so now we're on the top 4, and these are the 4 books that I would consider my absolute favorite books of the year. I love them with so much of my soul, and they really meant a lot to me this year. And I read all of these while I was just about to go to college or in college, and I don't know, they just meant so much to me. And yeah, I don't even know what else to say, except I really adore these books, and these are the books I would recommend over all of the other ones. Even though all the books I have on this list I 100% recommend, I love them all to death, but these are the books that I really think you all should read. So yeah, let's get into that. So for number 4, we have Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. Oh my god, this book made me bawl all the time. I was listening to this on audiobook. As you can see, I don't have the book. I would walk to class and be literally like not bawling while I was walking to class, but I was like holding back tears because this book was so emotional and so heartbreaking in so many different ways. If you don't know this book is quite old actually. It is such a deep story. It is about this young girl who gets taken from her home in Lithuania and is sent off to the Siberian war camps or death camps. I'm not even entirely sure what they were actually called. And it's mostly her journey and what happens there, and oh my god, it hurts. It physically hurt me to read this book because you know this stuff happened and it's not fiction. It's fiction, but it's not fiction, and it hurts. It hurts every single time that you like think about it. And I love historical fiction. I think it's one of my favorite genres. I love everything that Ruta Sepetys has put out. It is superb. This book is absolutely superb. Her book, Salt of the Sea, is superb. This book, if you have not read this book, you need to read this book. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to put into words. This is definitely not a book that gave me all the feels or anything like that. It was just so heartbreaking. It was such a wonderful novel and so enlightening in so many different ways, and I just think everyone needs to read it. So that's why it's one of my favorite books of the year. You definitely need to read this if you haven't. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Deep and emotional impact. Boy, that's like the main theme, I think, of the rest of these books. Mostly. My heart. Alright, so now we are in the top 3. Top 3. I cannot believe we're here. Okay, so number 3 is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Once again, a book that absolutely devastated me. If you don't know what this book is about, you probably don't, because it is severely underhyped. It's the story of Lydia and her family coming to terms with her death after she is found drowned in a lake. And it follows all of her family members, including her, leading up to this event and after this event, trying to wrap their head around why Lydia would do this. And it follows all the different people that are in her life, and it follows like all the things they thought about her and all the things they thought were true but weren't. And it was so literally so amazing. It really told a beautiful story, and it was absolutely heartbreaking just watching the progression, watching and seeing what happened. And I can't even, because you really do need to go into this book only knowing what I've told you in order for you to get to the full effect of what is happening in this family. It is so heartbreaking. This book was absolutely devastating to me. This book does include Chinese American representation, and I cannot speak to if it is authentic or not, but I do know it is own voices, so take that what you will. I love this book. I really think it was really impactful, and I really loved it, and I'm so excited to read Celeste Ng's newest novel, Little Fires Everywhere. And if you haven't read this book, please pick it up. It's not long at all. It will not take you much time to read. It is beautiful, it is authentic, and you need to read it. I don't even know what else to say. Yeah, absolutely stunning novel. Please read it. Okay, so now we are in the top 2. This next book should probably come as no surprise, and that is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare. I love this book so freaking much. Oh my god, I love this book. So, if you don't know what this book is about, it is about 3 princesses that are fighting for the crown because only one can win and they have to kill the other 2 to get the crown. Whatever. Okay. This book was so amazing to me because the writing, first of all, is superb. It follows so many different characters, and all of the characters are so well fleshed out, and they all have great backstories, and they all have such good character development, and it's just so enthralling. Like, the whole book is so good. Thought this book was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I cannot rave about it enough. If you haven't read this book, you need to read this book. It is just all the characters were absolutely amazing. I loved to hate them. I loved them. I just, every plot twist in this, the ending was amazing. Everything is so good. So good. You need to read this book. Simple as that. I'm reading the second book now. Still so amazing. Love it. Seriously, check this book out. Alright, on to the top one. Okay, this book should come as no surprise, especially since you haven't seen it on the list so far. Always and Forever, Lara Jean by Jenny Han. I made a whole video. I cried in it. I will link it up above for you guys. I did a whole review. This book was amazing. I talked a lot about why I love this book in my review, so really if you want my full in-depth thoughts, please check that out. But basically this book just related to me so heavily, especially as somebody who had a boyfriend in high school who I'd been with for a while and was going into college. It was just so refreshing, and I can't even think about how much I love this book because I love this book. Like, this is definitely one of my favorite books of all time. It's definitely probably even number one. Like, I just related to this book so heavily, and it's definitely not going to be for everyone because the reason I loved it so much is because I related it so well. But I think anyone who reads this book will really love it. So yeah, if you guys haven't read this book, if you haven't read this series, obviously this is the third book in the To All the Boys I Loved Before series by Jenny Han. I loved it with all my heart. You should really check it out if you haven't. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Once again, review linked up above. I love this book, and I'm so glad that I read so many great books this year. So yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I love Peter, I love Laura, I love the whole family. Love this book. Alright guys, and that is another year of my favorite books. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you loved any of these books, or even if you hated some of these books, be sure to comment down below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. As always, all my social media links are down below for you guys to check out. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Bye! Gonna make it through this time.